everybody, and welcome to Whiskey Network.
This is another one of your bad ideas.
This is a bad idea because I'm drinking what you paid for. Hello, everybody. Gabe and Rob.
Hello.
I don't like that face right when we got started. Why did you have that face?
I just took a sip of this.
Well, that's going to set the table for exactly how this whole episode is going to go.
I didn't want to spoon feed you, but you asked, so.
Today we are going to be drinking why did you come across this one, Rob? Why did you pick this?
I saw the bottle in the store and thought it looked cool.
For those that are just listening to the podcast,
don't judge a book by its cover. Boy, is what I learned.
Here we go. This looks like it's a baseball. It's a bottle, a decanter that's a little bit bigger than I'd say a softball.
It's quite a little bit bigger than a normal softball.
But it's meant to be a baseball, and it is
Fits about 750 milliliters.
Doubleday Bourbon is what this is from Cooperstown Distillery. Gabe, you're kind of close to New York where you grew up, weren't you? Sort of?
Kind of. It was still like a 5-hour drive. And
was it really? Oh,
I mean, yeah.
It was only like 100 miles, but it was a 5-hour drive.
I only went to New York twice. One was just the general New York State to visit family. The other time was to New York City.
Just to say you went to New York City.
Just to say I went.
Yeah.
I have never heard of Cooperstown town or distillery, so I don't know anything about this.
Well, baseball fans will know that Cooperstown, of course, is the home to the Baseball Hall of Fame. So if you're a big fan of baseball, it's a visit that you probably would make at some point, right? Of course,
I don't know. Depends on who they're letting in and who they're keeping out for whatever fictitious amount of bullshit they got going. But yeah.
All right. Now I got to put explicit on this one. Thanks, Rob. No, tonight, of course, we're filming this on the day of the All-Star game for Major League Baseball, which is tonight. And that's kind of one of the reasons why we decided to do this, to coincide. But by the time you hear it, this will be over by 3 days. And we'll be moving back into the regular baseball season like Friday or Saturday, right? I believe the regular season games will start again. Somewhere in there.
Nobody's listening anyway.
Nobody's watching. But what is your aversion to baseball all of a sudden? You're a huge sports guy.
It's just dull.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you ever a fan when at an exciting time when?
Yeah, I was way back when I was a kid. It was a lot more interesting. It was baseball cards and that kind of thing.
Yeah, of course.
And it just seems like it's, I don't know, taking a step back. It's slowed down even more when they should be trying to speed it up. And it's the rules they make up that are unwritten rules seem to be flying around. I'm like, if they're so bloody important, why don't you just go ahead and write them down?
Gabe, were you a sports guy at all? Were you into any sports in particular?
I liked playing sport.
Right.
I mean, I mostly was a track and soccer guy growing up. I never really watched sports growing up. It wasn't really part of my life. It wasn't something I really did. I was weird.
Well, it seems, but you seem to be from a part, because you're from Maryland.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was from,
that's
everybody, like especially, Maryland University.
Yeah.
College baseball and football. It's all huge there. I just never got into it. I'm weird.
Played but didn't watch.
Yeah, pretty much.
I know quite a few people that were like that though too. Even the sport that they play, they're like, yeah, I don't care to sit down and watch it. Really.
Well, the Ravens had to be big. I imagine the Orioles.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching football like when it was on. But I never followed it by any means.
Okay. All right, so this is the nostalgia behind this is totally lost on you then completely.
Yes, I'm judging it purely on its taste and nose. So
that's why we have you in.
Get ready for that.
Well, I can tell you were over there. You were swirling it. You've been smelling it. Have you tasted it yet?
No, I haven't. I'm scared to.
I just noticed at the bottom of that looks like a baseball.
It is a baseball field. Oh, the base of it is a baseball field. Yeah, look at there.
Is it? Really? Huh.
Really, so far, that's the most interesting
You're not
thing
lying.
about this drink. Rob and I have, while we were waiting for you to get here, Gabe, have already tried it. So go ahead, give it a taste. And then
I don't like it.
We both predicted that that's the answer you would give.
No, I don't want to come off as a pretentious asshole, I'm sure I already do.
No, that's 100% fine.
The nose, this is a horrible nose. It is offensive and youthful, and I don't like it. And I'm offended.
This has been my favorite one with you so far, Gabe. This is great.
Oh, we don't have to worry about offending anybody on this one.
Well, this is
okay, good.
this is sourced bourbon from Indiana. It is blended in Cooperstown Distillery. Cooperstown they have an actual distillery. Since 2013, they've been in existence, and they do have their own line of distilled and bottled whiskeys. They claim to be like a farm to bottle company.
Okay.
So they're getting all of their grains and everything from New York State. This is not that. This is a blend, they say, of an old and a young bourbon.
I think they put in a lot more young.
I would like to point out, God, there's so many red flags with this. I'm about to go off on this bottle. So
I can't wait. Batter up,
So
Gabe.
honestly, this is what's wrong with Japanese whiskey. This is everything. So you have the big old Cooperstown Distillery. So
Right.
you look at it and you're like, oh, Cooperstown Distillery. Well, clearly it was made by Cooperstown Distillery. They would never put Cooperstown Distillery on a bottle that doesn't make their own stuff. And then behind here, it's produced and bottled,
Yes.
not distilled.
Right.
Produced and bottled.
And that's the word that I think everybody gets hung up on, or people that really don't understand. They look at the word produced.
Oh, yeah.
And they think, oh, that's the same as distilled.
No, I can produce music all day long. Doesn't mean I make it or know how. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
It's a
I'd
great
like
example.
to see that, actually.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can producing is. I mean, sure, someone who gets things together and kind of makes it happen. But in whiskey, I don't. I mean, I kind of care about that, but I want to know who made it. Like,
Right.
who bottled this? Not who bottled it, but who aged it? Who distilled it? I mean, they can contract, I guess, through MGP, but.
And that's exactly what they did. That's
well,
exactly
yeah,
where
and
it
we
comes
went
from.
down that path last week with sourced whiskeys and Do We Care? And
Now, again, for the record, I want to say I'm not saying sourced whiskeys are bad. MGP has some killer stuff out there. This is not one of them.
Boy.
I don't like this.
well,
bottle.
this did come up.
Have I made
on
that
the-
clear?
Yes.
Okay.
This did come up on the list that we talked about last week, and I thought I saw it before we started talking about it. And so when we were talking about doing this one, I'm like, I'm sure this was on the list. And you're like, no, Cooperstown's got their own distillery. I'm like, yeah, but I'm pretty sure this was it. This Doubleday Bourbon.
The Doubleday Bourbon.
And it's a limited edition deal, and I'm guessing that they're not producing all of the whiskeys that are on their list for one reason. As a 2013 distillery, they probably just can't do the volume. I mean, they've got these things in softballs and footballs and golf club heads and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it really looks a little bit like the Avon perfume selection when I was 12.
It's gimmicky. It's gimmicky.
Well,
Sure.
and then
Well, let's be honest. Like,
And I'm sure they sold a lot of it. But
right. Well, what do you remember what you paid for this, Rob?
I think the softball I think the baseball was, well, it's huge. Come on, it's ridiculous. Can't fit much booze in a baseball.
No,
though.
you wouldn't be able to.
I think it was about $50. I think the football, it might have been 60. I think
So-
the football and the baseball were about the same price, and the golf club was like 90.
yeah, you got to. And again, this is not something people buy. Probably going to piss people off when I say this, but yeah, this is not something people buy to drink. This is something that if you're a baseball fan or a sports fan, it looks cool on the shelf, and it's like, look at this baseball bottle I have to commemorate whatever
Right.
people want to do with it. And that for that purpose, it's perfectly fine. It's cool, but because of that, it's gimmicky, and most people probably don't drink it.
Okay,
I don't
so
know.
after you've had a taste of it now, then Gabe, and of the three of us in here, you're the one that can pick out the specifics. What makes it not great? Because all three of us agree it's not great.
So, and again, for me, it's just there's a youthful, almost something went wrong with the corn note for me. It's just this offensive funk. And like some rums have funk. Funk doesn't mean bad. In this particular instance, it does. It just tastes like something was not matured right, used bad casks, the distillate wasn't taken care of, it wasn't cut properly. And it just no care went into this bottling. I mean, how old is it? Does anyone know?
No, it says in the description a blend of young and old bourbon is all it says.
I'm not getting any old at all. I mean,
Really?
and again, age
Well,
doesn't
it could be
mean
this
everything.
much old and that much, or this much young and that much old.
Right.
Too. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah, to me, it's just it tastes young and
that's
very spirity. It's very
Well, and
neutral grain spirit.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head. I mean, I thought it smelled like floor polish.
Yeah.
I mean, it would just.
It tastes diet. It tastes
It's a diet
it's
whiskey.
a diet whiskey.
I like it.
because that dryness on the tongue is what I get a little after swallowing it, and to me that's like I don't like wine, but like if I had a dry wine, it seems like it'd be that same thing, and I'm not. It just I like that oily.
I'm not getting anything
So
as good as. Dry
have I
wine
shared
out of
with
this.
you guys my new grading system for reviews I do?
No.
Okay.
I think I've
So
seen,
where's this one
I
gonna
think
be?
I've seen it.
Well, so and we won't do it, but this is essentially what I have. So I have aroma, flavor, finish, balance, complexity, body, uniqueness, value, aesthetics, and drinkability. Those are all the categories I judge it off of, and they all have their own specific values associated with them. The only kind of the one that some people don't agree with is the aesthetics, but I think aesthetics kind of go into
packaging is important.
I
Sure it
think
is.
so. It adds to the experience. So that's why I added in there. So for this one, again, like aroma, flavor, and finish. The aroma, it doesn't jump out at me. And what is there, I don't like. It's young and offensive and kind of neutral, almost funky corn and maybe vodka-like. Flavor, short, thin, not complex at all. What's there is bitter oak tannin, and that's about it. There's some sweetness, but all of that is associated with the funky corn to me. Finish is non-existent.
There isn't any finish of it.
There isn't a finish. I mean,
No.
it's wood polish, and that's it.
You don't even get the burn that could give you at least something to.
Right? There's
talk
nothing
about.
there.
No.
I mean, what do you think, Rob?
Well, I thought the first sip that I had before you got here burned a lot more than it should have, because you don't get that. You get a little burn on a good bourbon, but not one that steals your soul.
Yeah.
And this one burned a while.
So-
I don't get that now that my palate is acclimated a little bit.
Yeah, but what is there? It's not good.
It's not super good.
So even with those, right? So these kind of go hand in hand: balance, complexity, and body. It's not really balanced. There's nothing. It's not cohesive. It's just
Well, it
kind
is
of.
balanced. It's just balanced because there's nothing there. I mean, if there's nothing on the teeter-totter, it's balanced.
Well, this is fair.
Doesn't one
This
end
is-
still sit on the
well,
ground?
This is fair.
Not if it's a well-made teeter-totter.
He's philosopher
Right.
Rob today.
Yeah, yes, that's perfect.
I
Right.
took philosophy in college.
You nailed it.
Yeah,
All right.
it
Well,
was
what's
bullshit too.
complexity? I mean,
Nothing.
Never done
I mean,
that.
it's
So
there
one-
and gone.
Yeah.
That's 0.5 maybe. I mean, same with body. There's nothing there. It's not oily. It's
No.
not mouth coating.
No
it's
oil at
thin and dry. So value. I mean, you paid $50 for this.
Or
I can
60.
pay
I-
25 for Buffalo Trace or Elijah Craig. So value's
Right.
down the toilet.
Right.
Aesthetics. I mean, cool. I mean, I'll give it a 3.
It's got a
I mean, it's cool.
coolish bottle.
So there's that.
It's still, I swear to God, it reminds me of the perfume that Avon had.
It does.
When we
It
were
looks
kids.
exactly like those bottles.
I don't know. You may be too young for that, but they had all of these things. They were like little goofy decanters.
Was that an insult?
No, not
that
at all.
was, I
You-
wish
you
I
didn't
was
wanna
your
be,
age
right.
thing.
You didn't want to be alive for that. It was weird.
Okay, good.
But they had the Avon catalog, and you could buy the
Right.
canoe or the baseball
Yeah,
or the.
well, and like for Father's Day, they would put out
Right.
the golf club head
Sure.
bottle of perfume and the things like
okay.
that, and that's what it was in.
So
and that's what this
I'll
looked
have to
like.
bring you guys in a bottle of IW Harper 12 at some point. So IW Harper 12 is an old brand that was only released. The 12-year was only released in Japan. So IW Harper 15,
Okay.
that brand. So they have a 12-year in Japan, and the bottles look exactly like a perfume bottle. Exactly like a perfume bottle, but it's actually pretty good. And it's only like $45-$50 over there. And that, I mean, compared to this, if we're talking perfume bottles, this is,
Yeah.
Right.
I wouldn't even spray this on myself in the morning to go to work with it.
Well, you might get arrested.
Well, that's true. I swear I wasn't drinking, officer. It's my perfume.
Well, yeah, it's totally a novelty.
Yeah.
And a lot of the reviews I was reading online too, people were very
Yeah.
similar.
I mean, would you drink this? Would you go back to it? No. So
never.
drinkability.
I
is
will
even-
put it out here for the rest of the employees. to
Yeah.
drink.
Yeah.
We do happy hours weekly, so we'll throw this one out and be like, no, you guys,
Houston and I
seriously.
keep the good stuff.
I mean, in a cocktail, I mean, you cover it up with some simple syrup and
You're
some
gonna
maybe
have to.
vermouth or something. I mean,
Coke.
yeah. But again, I don't really know many people who are picking this up to drink it. I don't
It
know.
is. I agree. I think it's one of those bottles you'd see in a liquor store. You'd buy it because of the shape of the bottle. You'd buy it because it looks cool. And
This
you'd
would be
buy it
cool
because
on
you're a baseball fan.
on an office desk.
Yeah,
or something.
absolutely.
Like if you got a big
Absolutely.
oak desk, not me. I'm just
Yep.
a lowly peon. But if you're like a CEO and you're like, I got a baseball thing.
Yeah,
over
but
here.
at that
Right.
point, if you're the CEO of some big company and you have this sitting on your desk and somebody goes, "Hey, have you tried it?" and you, yeah, that's just there for looks. It's complete garbage. I mean, what does that say about
What kind
you?
of CEO are
Right.
you? What kind of crappy company have I walked into? God,
Well, I
you
didn't
guys
say
are awful.
what company. He was the CEO of.
All right, well, we can all
This
agree.
might actually be the worst review we've given on
It-
anything.
it could-
Even some
on,
of them
on
bottom
my
shelf.
scale, it would probably get like a 20 out of 29, which is a nope.
Okay.
Or
well,
a
very
hell
good.
no.
I think you should just, that's what it should be. Just
I can take the bottle and give it a review if you guys want. Put it on the page and
Help yourself.
You go ahead with that one, Gabe. I think we've blown it up here enough. But yes, if you feel
it can't be any worse than that,
Right.
that Woodford Reserve one I did, the malted rye or whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah, I still try that one every once in a while just because there's so much money invested in it.
But if you would like to drink some good whiskey, how are we on the tickets for that Jack tasting up in Sturgis? Do you know now?
We are at about 2/3 right now.
Okay.
So we've got, 3 weeks from today.
Got about 30 tickets to go, somewhere in there, maybe?
Well, if
40?
there's let's say
I don't
there's
know, don't
60
don't
sold.
make me do math after drinking
If
crappy
there's, if
whiskey.
there's 60 sold, we got about 40 left. I think that's about where we sit.
Is that 2/3? I don't know.
2/3?
Yeah.
That's kind of your job numbers, isn't it, Gabe? Were you able to?
So they
they've only
say.
been on sale for a couple of weeks or 10 days. So all
right, very
we've
good.
got some time. I have no doubt that that's going to sell out. So if you guys are interested in coming, or if anybody out there is going to be at the rally and has a couple hours to do nothing with on a Tuesday,
Well,
this is a good spot for it.
It's something we can't recommend enough because it's a learning experience. You're drinking some really, really good whiskey. And, it's a beautiful overlook over downtown Sturgis in the middle of the motorcycle rally. So,
Yeah, the big ones, they'll have the bonded, they'll have the
Triple
mash, and they will have Sinatra, from what I understand. So
that's worth it right there. Just those
We got to
three
bring that out after drinking this.
Well-
I can't believe.
with something terrible. No, I get it.
if you don't want to buy a $200 bottle of Jack Sinatra and you want to give it a shot before you try it, this would be your time to do it. And I can tell you in all honesty, it's worth it.
I hope that Dan out at Timmins Market is not selling this particular bottle. I don't think he was.
I do
was
think he did have some of these
Son of a-
out there.
Dang it. Sorry, Dan. We're not
I
going to
do-
drive sales on this one.
I do think it was a novelty item for him as well.
Good,
But
good. And I know if he was sitting right here, he would totally agree with us too. There would be no.
I'm sure.
Absolutely, Gabe. Thanks for coming in again, man, and giving us your honest
Yeah,
opinion on
thanks
this
for
one.
having me.
Yeah.
I
This
think
this is one's like
maybe you don't like me. That's why.
We'll do better next time.
We promise. Anyway, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. It's Whiskey to Work.
Cheers.